Good morning, class. Welcome to the online classes of physics of class 11th. In this session, we have seen lastly that it was buoyancy, Archimedes principle, law of flotation. So, what was Archimedes principle? That this principle tells us about that whatever the body's weight will be, it is equal to that of the weight of the liquid that is get displaced, right? So weight of the liquid get displaced will be equal to that of the upthrust, that is the force that is acting in the upward direction, that is upthrust. So whatever the upthrust value it will be, that much the weight of the liquid will be displaced. So they both are equal, and this weight of the liquid get displaced depends on the weight of our body. So whatever the force we are applying in the normal direction, mg, that will be equal to that of the upthrust that is acted upon in the upward direction, right? And what was law of flotation? We already said that the body will float only if the weight of the liquid displaced is equal to that or greater than the weight of the body. If the upthrust is greater than the weight of the body, then only the body can float. If it is less, then it will get sink. So after that, we have seen that the upthrust is equal to that of the weight of the liquid that get displaced, because whatever the upthrust value will be, similarly the weight of the liquid will get displaced in the water. Similarly, it was a relative density also we have seen, mass also seen, volume, Pascal's law, its applications, and all the parts we have seen. After that, I have told you that a solid parts have the friction, similarly liquids have a viscosity, right? So what that viscosity was, that in between the layer of the water there is a kind of a drag, that is the change decrease in the velocity between the layers of the liquid. So whatever the layers will be, that is in the contact of the first layer, that is in the contact of the surface, will have the minimum velocity, because it tries to remain constant along with that surface, but the different layers of the water will try to move. What that means, that the velocity, the last values means last surface layer's velocity will be maximum. So what was the coefficient of viscosity? That I already told you that water, simple, so that we use the water at our homes by the source of a taps or a pipe. So in that condition, the water having the viscosity minimum or a negligible condition. If you talk about an oil, then the viscosity somewhat it increases, and the highest viscosity it is for the honey, because if you have seen, when you drop it, it moves very slowly. That means the surface which is in the contact at the lowest part, it will not move very fast. The upper part will have the maximum velocity. Okay. Similarly, the swimming pool, like we are swimming, then we used to get a resistance from the layers of the pool that are coming in the direction will try to oppose. That means it is a kind of frictional force, like it opposes the relative motions, right? And we have seen the difference between that both viscosity and the friction also. What was the coefficient of viscosity? That it was given as force that depends on the area as well as a velocity gradient, which was given as dv by dx. So both are the proportional to that of the Newton's gravity. What we can say, that the force is directly proportional to area of the layers in the contact of the water. Similarly, the velocities, the rate of the change of the velocity with which the direction along with the means, what we can say, that along with the distance increasing. In this figure you can say that adjacent layers, when we are increasing the distance, the velocity is also changing. So according to that law, what we can say, that there is a change in the velocity when we are increasing the distance. That change in the velocity due to the displacement or the distance of the layers, it is considered as a velocity gradient. It was directly proportional to the force. And similarly, area also needed, because what was the area of the layer is also very important. So this coefficient of viscosity is given by eta. So the eta's value will be f dx upon adv. Adv can be given as a volume also. So this is what the formula for the coefficient of viscosity. Its unit was given by Poise, right? And it was a Poiseuille or a Poise. If you take a Poiseuille, then it will be changed into 10 Poise. Okay, 1 Poiseuille is equals to 10 Poise. We have seen the difference between this viscous force and the solid friction also. Now we'll see what the Stokes law was. I have already told that any body will used to feel an opposite force or resistance when we used to ride a bike also, or when we used to walk also, when we used to run also. We get a resistance of air. If you're talking about fluid, then water is also showing us the resistance. If you're talking about solid, then every frictional force is there which acts opposite to the direction of the relative motion. So any fluid, if you talk about, then a body always tries to oppose this relative motion. So this in the fluid, it will be considered as a viscosity. So what it is written here in the drag means a drag on a body. Whenever a body is falling into a liquid, then the drag condition is given by the viscous, and that is given by a scientist named as Stokes. That means whatever the backward means, the viscous force which is acting on a body will be along with that the change in the coefficients of the viscosity and the velocities and the distance between means radius of that body. Now this is the Stokes law was given for only spherical bodies. Like when a spherical body enters into the fluid, then there is a backward force or a viscous force acting on that body, and due to that of the coefficient of viscosity eta. So from there he told us about some force, that how it will derive. Similarly, the viscous is a drag force on a body when it falls into a liquid which should be in a spherical shape. So whenever a body falls through a viscous liquid, because in that Pascal's law we have said that it was incompressible and non-viscous liquid, here we are talking about viscous fluid only. The layer of the fluid in contact with the body moves with its velocity, because we already told that the layer of the fluid in the contact, whatever the fluid will be, because now I have told you that if the weight of the body is more than that of the density or the upthrust, then what will happen, that the body will sink. Now if the density of that body will be less than the density of the liquid, so it will float. So whenever the body comes in the contact with any of the layer, if it sink, it is the downward layer. If you talk about the floating, then it will be the upper layer. So however, the fluid at a large distance from it will remain at rest, because if you're talking about floating condition, then the floating we are at the first layer. So the contact layer means it will be the first layer, it will be in the contact, so it will have some drag force. But the last one, the downest part of the layer, that will not act at us in the contact. So they will try to remain at rest. So this produces a motion between the different layers of the fluid. As a result, the body experiences a viscous force which tends to oppose our motion in that liquid. And these force which is trying to oppose, or a drag force which is acting on us by the fluid, it tries to increase the velocity of the body also, but it tries to change, and that was given by the velocity gradient. From there we got a coefficient of viscosity also. So for a spherical body, it was given by the Stokes. He told that acting on a small spherical body of radius r, the backward viscous force always will be acting opposite to that of the relative motion, and it will be depending on its radius of that spherical body. It will depend on the velocity through which it is moving. Whatever the coefficients of viscosity, it will depend on that also. So how this derivation can be given, because if somewhere it is given that prove the state the Stokes law and prove according to the dimensional analysis, then you have to do the same. If it is shown that derive Stokes law, then also you have to do the same. That's one of the important topics. Okay, so what we have given, that force, it depends on the coefficient of viscosity, it depends on radius of the spherical body, it depends on its velocity. So it will be eta to the power a, we will write. Radius it will write by b. For velocity we write it as c. So we will write some dimensions. Here it is force which was given as mass into acceleration. So mass will be given as m. For acceleration it is given as lt minus 2. For eta, that is the coefficient, it is given as ml minus 1 t minus 1. Now only we have taken out in that f dx upon a dv. And for velocity we know lt minus 1. For radius, that is length. So putting all these dimensions, we can find out the a, b and c's value. From there we can write the value almost for all the powers, that how this formula will come. So a, b and c, three of it are same, so we got its value as 1 itself, right? So from there what we can say, that the a, b and c's value are similar to that of 1, so force will be equal to that of eta r v. Now for a small sphere, if we talk about, then k is found to be equal to that of a 6 pi. Okay, so on putting this value, that is for constant k, This was the formula for the Stokes law, that is F is equals to 6 pi eta RV. So we already told that this is for a viscous liquid. So here are some more validities, that how it will valid for some liquids and how it will not valid for some other. That the body should always be perfect, rigid and a smooth body, then only Stokes law will work. Similarly, fluid through which the body moves should infinitely extension should be there. Size of the body is small, but it is larger than the distance between the molecules of the liquid. Motion of the body does not give rise to a turbulent motion. I already told turbulent means like a flow of water in a very highest speed. So that is condition. In that condition, like if you talk about a waterfall, if you are giving a pipe water to the garden, then also if you are holding that pipe in between point, then also the turbulent flow comes. So we all this velocities is considered as a turbulent motion. Okay. So what is terminal velocity? So we know that whenever the liquid flow, it has some constant velocities along with that constant surface, but this maximum constant velocity that can be acquired by any body, that can get after that it will try to become a turbulent flow. So till that maximum constant velocity acquired by a body while falling through a viscous medium is called its terminal velocity. So what it will depend on, that is the spherical body. We know by the Stokes law that whatever the spherical body, it will depend on its eta RV, that means coefficient of viscosity, radius of that spherical body, and the velocity gradient. It was dv by dx, but here it will depend on only on the velocity, that is v. So whatever the body, whenever it falls through the viscous liquid, then whatever the things which will be acting, that is the weight that is acting in the upward direction, and the equal and the opposite reaction will also be there in the opposite direction, that is F. Our weight mg will be in the downward direction, upthrust will be in the opposite direction. Similarly, when the body is going in the downward or any layer, the velocity will also decrease. So similarly, upthrust or weight of the body, what it will be given as mg, we know. Mass or can be given as a volume into density. For volume of the spherical body, we can use 4 by 3 pi r cube. Similarly, force of viscosity is acting in the upward direction. So viscosity, whenever it is acting in the upward direction, so it is given as F is equals to 6 pi eta RV, that is in the relative motion, it is acting opposite direction. So a body attains terminal velocity only when the upthrust and the force, that is the top one, two layers are acting on it right in the opposite direction. You can see here by the figure the two arrows, that the two forces acting in the top direction, that is given by U and F. Together when they get add up, that should be equal to that of weight. So weight is given as 4 by 3 pi r cube rho g, that is mass into volume and its gravity, and U it is given as 4 by 3 r cube sigma g. Sigma was for pressure, because upthrust is that the pressure upon area. For area we have written this area into volume, from there it came. And for force, that is viscous force, which is given as 6 pi eta r v. Now 6 pi eta RV, we get the value. From there we have to find the velocity, that is V's value, that is the terminal velocity we will get. So V is equals to 2 by 9 r square rho minus sigma g upon eta. So what this tells us about this terminal velocity, it tells us about the velocity of the small sphere that it gets into the viscous liquid, right? What this ideal fluid means, the fluid which will be flowing very with a constant velocity, does not vary. It cannot be incompressible, means it cannot be compressible too much. It will be a non-viscous flow, because now only we have talked about the viscous condition. So this is what the fluid should not have a viscous, like our normal waters. It should not do a irrotational flow, means should not rotate. It should have an irrotational flow also. That we will consider it as an ideal fluid. Here see the next topic, there is equation of continuity. This is one of the important part. Like I have told you that whenever a liquid flow, so it is moving in a surface, so it will have a streamlined velocity. That means the flow will be considered as a streamlined flow. In that condition, it is moving with a constant velocity. A point come that before the turbulent flow, it will try to change its velocity. The velocity at the streamlined condition is considered as its critical velocity. The maximum velocity with which it can have in the constant surface will be its terminal velocity. After that, it will have a turbulent flow also. So during the streamline flow of the liquid, that to the non-viscous liquid. Now I am talking about the ideal liquid for the equation of continuity. But for flotation, after that we have ready terminal velocity. Before that we have some coefficient of viscosity also. All that condition we have talked about viscous liquid. Here we are talking about an ideal fluid. It states that during the streamline flow of that non-viscous or an incompressible liquid, which is like this condition, which you can see here, a figure is showing you. So the pipe will be not having an equal cross section on the both the types, so there will be no equal cross section or a varying cross section is there. At that time its product of the velocity and its cross section will remain constant throughout the flow of the liquid. This is what the equation of the continuity means whatever the cross section will change, like our bottles, it is having width at the down direction, but when we are drinking it is have a very narrow spill, right? So from there we are drinking. So in this condition, what the area is changing, then also the velocity remains constant at every point of the cross section. So this was the equation of continuity. What it tells, that what the mass of the liquid will be, mass of the fluid will be given as area of cross section, that is given as here a1. If you talk about length, here you can see a1, a2. So we are talking about the mass of the liquid at the first point and the second point. So we are considering our point A, and after that we are considering point B. So A, what it will be, like it is flowing out, there is a small change in the velocity. So A point, what the area will be, let us consider that it is having the area A1, it is moving with velocity V1. Then displacement we don't know, but displacement what it will be, we know that velocity is displacement upon time. So length whatever it will cover, that means displacement or distance covered will be equals to velocity into time. Let the time change be del t, then whatever the liquid now flowed to the second point, now let the liquid is flowing. So from point A we started, now they get flowed through the point A dash and B dash. So let the time considered by the point of flowing be del t. So v1 del t and v2 del t. So these are the two velocities of the liquid with the time, that is displacement is given, or the length through which it is moving is given. So here I have shown you that volume is always length into breadth into height. Length into breadth is an area, height will be same. So here the area of cross section will be same, and if you talk about its height or a displacement of the liquid will be given as your v1 del t, that is displacement is equals to velocity into time. Similarly rho1 for your density, because mass is given as volume into density. Now if we talk about the fluid, so we know that for a conservation of mass in any liquid, mass cannot be neither be created nor be destroyed. From there we know that mass at any point it should be equal, it is at a narrow point or at a wider point. So m1 is equals to m2. Now what the value for the m1, that is a1 v1 del t rho1, a2 v2 del t rho 2. We know that it's a liquid, that too non-viscous and incompressible liquid, so density will never change at a point. So densities will be equal. So on cancelling the densities, time we already said that time covered by both the liquid will be same now, because we are taking the point at the same time. So velocities will be different, but the time will cancel, rho also cancels, so only remaining words will be a1 v1 is equals to a2 v2. What that means, that AV is constant. If it is AV is constant, what we can say, that the area, product of area and the velocity will remain constant for an incompressible liquid when during the streamline flow. Okay. So few more topics will be remaining for your next post midterms exams, important topics. In this you can see the law of flotation, Archimedes principle, your terminal velocity, then coefficient viscosity is very important, and similarly equation of continuity is also very important. Okay, so try to see this video so that you can cover up your portion also. So thank you class, we will be seeing the further topics in the next class.